ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grandmothers, grandfathers,
and kangaroos.
And little Joeys. You can't forget about the little Joeys.
Don't forget about him, man. Who do we have in the top
Any
left corner?
Joey who's tuning in right now.
Yeah, he's like, thanks for calling me out,
Yeah,
man.
right?
I appreciate that.
Shout out, man.
Someone's going to make a Twitch username now called Little Joey. He'll be like an IPL viewer for
He'll
life.
be chatting with us the whole entire time. We'll instantly mod him. No.
Yeah,
Wait,
we'll do
maybe.
it.
It might happen.
We'll mod you. All right, let's go ahead, guys. In the top left corner, kicking it off for Prime is going to be MKP. Bringing out one of the big guns here on Prime side. Bottom right corner, Complexity's very own TriMaster.
And it's Ohana.
Yeah.
Super flat map. Lots of different attack routes here. So it's one of those maps where really anything can happen in a TVT, whereas you look at some maps, Daybreak, for instance, you know, it's pretty well thought out. Players have Daybreak figured out, is the phrase I should use. Essentially boils down to like 3 attack paths, and you can see a lot of it with the Xel'Naga. Here on Ohana, it's a little bit different. Things can get really finicky when you get onto like 4 and 5 bases. It depends where you grab your 4th and 5th. Many a game I've seen players completely sieged in, and like, for instance, if you're looking at TriMaster, that bottom left-hand corner, you can like get sieged in there, but you can just swing around on the right-hand side then and like take that base and push up the right and counter your opponent. It gets pretty crazy. We've seen some absolutely absurd TVTs on here, so this could be set up to be a very interesting match, or it could be a little more standard. It's not as crazy as games like Whirlwind, I'd say. I think Whirlwind is just so big, you can see anything.
Essentially do anything you want. On this map, it used to be a lot of gas openings. You used to see a lot of Banshee play.
That's so true, yeah.
Even a lot of Hellion play. It started to really move into that type of direction and went from Banshees moving to Hellions and Hellion Banshee. But as of late, we've actually been seeing a lot of 1-Rex into expansions just because players have learned to play safer. They followed up into their 1-Rex expand into a couple of racks, which allows them to use the means to defend. You can lose a few SCVs, but as long as you make sure to minimize the damage that is done to your SCVs, then the Banshee really doesn't pay for itself that well. So a lot of players now are opening up with expansions, and we have the 1-Rex going down here for Marine King, and should be having expansion up very soon for both players.
All right, so Marine King pumped out every single SCV he could before starting that orbital, and he's now dropping his command center up. Oh, he actually did drop it on the low ground. TriMaster going to be doing the same. So identical builds out of both of these players right now. So it's honestly going to be a little bit of downtime. We can see MKB did opt for gases immediately. TriMaster, he's either waiting or he's going to follow up with Rex. We'll have to wait and see.
A little bit on the greedy side here for MKP. Did he get a scout on? Is that the reason why he's... No, he hasn't even scouted here. So this is a big risk, going 1 rack straight into double gas after you got on free command center. Yeah. You could die to a majority of 1 base timings. You know, at this point, you start seeing a lot of pressure on the middle of the map. You'll see a Marine moving across. If a Rax was put down and we had a Marine start off, because again, they get on the map at 310, so they can move across the middle of the map around like 340, 350, which will kind of show, hey, you know what, some aggression is coming your way. So MKP can kind of read. Maybe my opponent did fall up into a macro-oriented type of play without a scouting, but still, it's kind of fishy that it's going in this route.
Yeah, it is a little bit risky. I agree with you. But we see this out of players. I mean, Nest-T is notorious for going 13 minutes into games without ever scouting a single structure of his opponent.
Cheaters, man.
You know, he just looks...
If I would have done, I would die to like 3 racks.
It might as well be cheating, right?
Yeah.
It's mental map hacking.
Well, Marine King will be falling straight up into Reactor Hellion, and again, he's going straight up in tech, and if there was any type of units that pushing across the middle of the map, he would just die. He has a bunker and, what, 2 Marines? I mean, you could show up with what if we had a 3 racks from TriMaster?
Well, that's exactly what this bunker, I mean, you look at the timing of it, and TriMaster, he's got 2 barracks, but of course they're finishing here after the refineries, but he did open, you know, with 1 racks expanded to 2 barracks here. You're right, 1 base, 3 racks aggression, MKP would be dead. So he banked a lot on the fact that TriMaster wouldn't do that. And of course, TriMaster doesn't want to go for a build like that. You may be like, well, why didn't TriMaster go for that build if it would just beat MKP? TriMaster doesn't know that MKP is going to follow up into double gas.
Exactly.
And so if he had gone for that build, and for instance, Marine King had instead gone for 2 barracks behind his 1 racks expand, then TriMaster pretty much loses immediately. So it would be a big gamble out of TriMaster to go for a build like that.
Well, TriMaster did follow up with the opening safer route that I was mentioning earlier. He followed up into double racks, got his tech lab, will now start up the stem pack, can have aggression available to him pretty soon. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 3rd command center pretty quickly from him, actually, to be really honest with you. With the Hellions now
he hasn't
grabbing
taken his extra gases at his natural expansion quite yet, so.
This is a 1-2 in here. 3, 4. Hellions now in the middle of the map. We'll get rid of the Xel'Naga Marine that is chilling there and starts heading straight into the natural. Gotta be careful with that bunker. You can run on by it, but MKP, if he does go for it, wants to get some damage done. You want to kill about 3 to 4 SCVs. At this point, he has a bit of a soft contain by having Hellions outside the natural.
So Trimaster, I was waiting for the factory or their double engineering bay here, and Trimaster has opted to go for the double E-bay. You can see he's pulling 250 gas, and when you see a Terran player sitting on 250 gas and they haven't dropped their factory yet, this is a pretty safe bet for it to go for. And MKP, he hasn't actually seen much gas quite yet, but he's going to get a lot when he comes in here with these Banshees in terms of information.
All right, so going to lose a Hellion here, and he sees a hefty amount of Marines. Would be interesting if he actually got rid of his cloak after seeing so many Marines on the field here, especially with Stimpack finishing up. Trimaster will have the tools to hold it off pretty nicely. The question is whether or not Trimaster is going to be expecting the cloak Banshee to show up. It's a really late timing.
Yeah.
It's unorthodox for someone to show up with a cloak Banshee in your main and natural, and they kind of want to hit a timing where you use both your mules on your main and natural, so you can't pop down a scan right away. But look at this, Trimaster with the double engineering bay is just playing very safe here. He's got missile turrets already up in his natural. Would like to have one in the main as well. But he's going to go ahead and just rely on potentially having a scan. Keep an eye on this scan. He might be saving it for that timing.
Yeah, he's about to 45 energy, and now the Banshee's revealed, so just a couple seconds too early here out of Marine King. There will be energy for one scan, but one scan only. A long time still till Trimaster's going to have that scan in his main again. Turret's already going down. Of course, he did have the engineering base in place from his upgrades.
Well, Trimaster's going to play it safe. He's going to wait till his Stimpack finishes up, and he stems and charges forward with only 4 Marines in the top right corner and kills it off. Well done. Nice patience there. He had the scan a little bit earlier on, but he just waited for the Stimpack to finish up because that's a secured kill.
Yeah, you of course get the ability to chase down that Banshee as your Marines can move faster than it by a very large margin. So Southern stepping is one of the easier things to pull off there against those cloak Banshees when the scan goes down. But Marine King is moving out here, and Trimaster maybe should be expecting this to a certain degree because Marine King was setting priority on those Marines.
Yeah,
you know, he was spending a lot of time killing off the units of Trimaster, and this is going to be a little bit dangerous. We'll see what MKP can get done with this push.
Well, looks like MKP is getting on the aggression, but I really feel like Trimaster's going to be fine here. He's got +1 armor finishing up. Just needs to hold this bunker. His scan hits immediately here. All the Marines are actually out of position.
Yeah.
Completely here. With siege tanks though on the low ground starting to siege away, Trimaster should get position pretty soon. And try and just keep this bunker alive. The longer you keep it alive, the better for him. His upgrades are now finishing up. He has 1-1 currently on his Marines.
All right, bunker on the low ground. MKP is going to try to turn this into a contain. To do that, he needs to keep his Marines alive, kiting Trimaster's Marines forward. Very nice volleys there for Marine King. He just got in a ton of damage. Marine King is now up by 20. Wow, actually, he's up by he's up by 25 supply here.
Yes.
That's a huge advantage sitting for Marine King right now. Now, he does not have stim, but he's got siege tanks in front of Trimaster's base.
Yeah, the real problem here for as well for MKP, yes, there is a siege tank for fire damage, but it's the Banshees. The Banshees give high ground advantage if the Marines have to kite on back, and they still get some free pot shots on the Marines as well. It's really hard to focus them down, and so the damage from MKP is just way too much. Trimaster's going to have to sacrifice his natural here, and it goes down immediately. Can't he kill off a couple more SCVs, and he will get a couple before pulling back with the siege tanks. Again, move forward. Oh, but Trimaster did a drop from behind here, coming straight in with some Marines. He doesn't have the Marines in the main, though, coming in. He kind of misses out on his flank.
Yeah, it still may have not been enough, though. In all honesty, Trimaster was caught being incredibly greedy here. With the double engineering base, the tech to fast medevacs, and the quick third versus Marine King, who really, at this point, has he dropped an engineering bay? Does he have one?
Yeah, he has one. He has +1 weapons done.
So, with one engineering bay, no fast third, Trimaster just went in a lot of directions here, and consequently, he doesn't have enough units.
Well, Trimaster's going to go ahead and try and do another break as well. We'll see momentarily if it'll work out for him. He's pretty far behind SCVs, and if he does break this, it'll still be pretty hard for him to come back, especially with losing his natural at first. Does clear out the Zonaga, and here comes the flank. He's got to get ready for it. He needs to lead with a few SCVs, but again, you don't want to lose too much. Banshee just prodding around, trying to get some free damage in. As we have a third on the way for Marine King pretty soon.
Trimaster should be able to clean this up.
Yes.
There's not a lot of units here. As long as he doesn't allow the Marines from the top to target that bunker, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. But the problem is Trimaster has lost far too much at this point, and Marine King seems to sense this flank is coming, and so he's pulling back. Now he sees the units, or does he? Still waiting to react, not reacting. There we go. Stims his Marines, and he's just going to try to get as many of those out of town as possible. Sacks a Banshee, sacks a tank, and salvages his bunkers.
Nice cleanup there from Trimaster. MKP was not expecting the drop from behind, so he just kind of right-clicked his units back home. All he was doing was pulling back. He goes, okay, I've done my damage. I killed off the natural. Eventually, Trimaster's going to get siege mode out and essentially get me away from this area. So I'm just going to pull back with my whole entire army, group up, and then get ready for another push. And Trimaster just was able to capitalize on the unawareness of MKP, not realizing that push was behind him.
Well, Trimaster knows that he has to make something happen right now, so he's moving out.
Oh my gosh, it's not going to happen. They're going to siege up quickly, but there's so many Marines here for MKP. It charges forward right away. Will sim right into the Marines, focuses down the Siege Snake, and GG is called by Trimaster.
All right, super well played out of Marine King there. He honestly just went for a build that really worked extremely well against the extreme greed that we saw out of Trimaster.
Yeah. I think Trimaster had a good chance to break that a little bit on the earlier side. He just didn't bring his units that were in the main down. He did the drop, which is really smart. Came behind, I believe killed off 2 siege tanks. And if he had brought his Marine and his first couple of Marauders in as well with a couple of SCVs, he could have crushed that way earlier, got an expansion back up. But still, he took way too much damage.
Yeah, I think he took exactly what I go
Too
to.
much.
The first engagement when he kind of came forward with his Marines and took tons of shots from those tanks. That set him behind by 25 supply. He may have cleaned up that the contain at least with the flanking maneuver, but he would still have been working at a significant disadvantage throughout the rest of that game. So that ties up game number 1. We're going to move into game number 2 after a quick commercial break. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This is Complexity facing off here against Prime, of course. We're going to have to see who manages to take this set. And it'll be, who's actually game number 2?
Rise.
Is Rise, all right.
Rise is an awesome Zerg player, man. Let's see how he does against Marine King. Let's go ahead and run up game number 2.